Testing. Okay, everybody, we're getting ready to start the meeting here soon.
Oh, right here. Is that for the mayor?
And Ralph. Yeah. Testing. Yeah, we're good. Okay. Waiting for old Ralph here. I go. Okay. All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Dania Beach City Commission regular meeting, Tuesday, September 26, 2023. It's a little after 7 p.m. Meeting's adjourned. Meeting is begun. Meeting is begun. Can we please have a roll call, clerk?
Yes. Mayor Ryan,
Here.
Vice Mayor Llewellyn,
Here.
Commissioner Davis,
Here.
Commissioner James,
Here.
Commissioner Salvino,
Here.
City Attorney Boutsis, here, City Manager Garcia,
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Laura. Let's all bow our heads for a moment of silence, please. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic For presentations and special event approvals, we have item 3.1, which is Feeding South Florida, and this item is sponsored by Commissioner James.
Am I on?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Is Max here? Oh, there you go, Max. Blending in back there. How are you? Max is going to give us a short presentation from Feeding South Florida, speak a little bit about it, and we'll discuss everything else a little later.
Sounds good. So thank you all for having me. Many of you on the commission I have met and luckily had the opportunity to have you in at our headquarters for tours. If my voice is slightly hoarse, forgive me. There's obviously a cough going around these days. But look, I'm humbled and honored to stand before you all today as the development director for Broward County on behalf of Feeding South Florida. I want to discuss a cause that's very close to my heart, and I know many of our hearts, which is combating food insecurity in Broward County, particularly within the vibrant communities that we have here in Dania Beach. Before I delve into the matters at hand, I would like to share with you all that my advocacy is driven by a profoundly personal history. I am the grandson of a Holocaust survivor who, despite enduring the unimaginable, found the strength to swear that when he moved to this country that his family would never go hungry. His journey left an indelible mark on me and my soul, and it fuels my commitment to ensuring that no one in our community has to go to bed hungry. Today we find ourselves in a period of profound reflection and contemplation, right after the holiest day of the Jewish year, which was Yom Kippur, which was yesterday. It's a time when we reevaluate our actions and their implications, when we seek forgiveness and strive for atonement. It is also a reminder that we are collectively responsible for protecting and nurturing the most vulnerable among us. It is a time to remember that our destinies are interwoven and the strength of our community is determined by how we treat those who are struggling. In Broward County, the harsh reality is that many of our neighbors, including those in Dania Beach, communities such as Meadowbrook, North Dania, other communities around town, are grappling with food insecurity every day. The issue of hunger is not remote. It lives beside us, often unseen but ever present. Feeding South Florida is unwaveringly committed to battling this silent crisis. We work tirelessly to provide nutritious food to families, children, and seniors who are at risk of going hungry. And as of today, we also kicked off our workforce training program at our Boynton Beach location for culinary arts, which will be running. We have our first class of 5 right now, and we're excited to get that going. Through our work, we have witnessed the transformative power of community, of people coming together to lift each other up. I was just at a distribution the other day. We had over 300 cars come by. We actually ran out of food, sadly. There was just so much need that we saw. But we had, I want to say 40 or 50 volunteers roll in, one from a pretty big company, which was nice. And in the wake of recent economic challenges, we are striving not only to meet the current demand, but also the root causes of food insecurity and to empower community members to achieve long-term food stability. Our mission is a call to action for every one of us. It's a call to embrace compassion, to extend a hand to our neighbors in need, and to work together to build a community where everyone has access to sufficient, nutritious food. And I urge each and every one of you in this room to join us in this crucial endeavor, be it through volunteering, through donations, by advocating for policies that address food insecurity and its underlying causes, because by uniting our strengths, our resources, and our voices, we can ensure that the resonant message of this time following Yom Kippur extends beyond a single day, becoming a living ethos that guides our actions and our commitments. It is through this collective effort that we can bring to life the promise made by my grandfather and many others, and by Feeding South Florida, to build a world where no one has to experience the pain of hunger. In this journey, we are not just serving meals, we are restoring hope, we are fostering resilience, and we are building a stronger, more compassionate community for all. So let us embark on this mission with a renewed sense of purpose and a shared commitment to making meaningful difference in the lives of people around us. Thank you.
Thank you, Max. Commissioner James?
Yes, thank you, Max. I did have the honor to come and tour the facilities and the amazing work in the warehouse and how organized it is. And I think it was just so inspiring to see so many individuals who are volunteering their time, right? Not really getting paid to do it, but um, lending a hand to those in need. In all of our cities, we have food deserts in our communities that, you know, that we all strive to lift each other up because our city is only as great as the most vulnerable part of the city. And so I know that how many other cities are you working with in Broward County?
So right now, for Hunger Action Month, we've received proclamations from 16 out of the 31. So we're actively building relationships with those and hoping to get to all 31.
Awesome, awesome. I know that a few of my colleagues have come as well to tour the facility. I would want to speak further later down in the meeting about how we can, discuss a potential partnership with our city in feeding South Florida uh, from the many distributions that we have done during COVID and different partners that we have had. We've had a tremendous turnout and a great need here for services like that. So thank you so much for sharing your story, for sharing what Feeding South Florida really is, and definitely with the workforce trainings and all the other things that come along with it. It's not just about giving food; it's about preparing our residents and the people that you deal with for sustainable jobs, so that we can combat the unaffordability that is here in South Florida. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner James.
Vice Mayor Llewellyn?
Yes. Hi, Max. Nice to see you again.
Good to see you.
As you know, the manager and I both went together to visit the facility. It was very impressive, and everything works like a well-oiled machine. It's excellent. I know you were still looking for a space somewhere else. Still?
Yes, we are.
You're still looking.
Yeah, still looking. That will be an ongoing project.
Yeah, it's a large space. That's
Yes,
the
very-
challenge.
Yeah.
I did want to commend you though on doing the workforce program because I think that's something that's needed, obviously. And I know you have a job placement program with that as well, correct?
So for warehouse training, yes.
Okay. So, but thank you for that, and I'm glad you're here today. And I actually do have a proclamation for you. I don't know if we want to do that now or we want to wait.
We'll
It's
wait.
related.
Yeah.
Okay. Hang around. I have a proclamation
Okay.
for you. Okay. Thanks.
Stick around. All right, thank you, Max. Thank you, Feeding South Florida. Oh. Commissioner Davis?
Thank you, Max. Quick question. I know that you've had a partnership with the Ebenezer Seventh-day Adventist Church for quite some time, a long-standing time. So I just wonder if that partnership is continuing with our church there in Dania Beach.
I believe so. We, as of now, have around 215 partner organizations. I can say I believe so, but I can get that answer for you for sure.
I'd appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Max. Thank you, Feeding South Florida. Quite the operation you have there. Look forward to a successful partnership and relationship with you guys.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right, next we have item 3.2. This is a presentation by our Public Art Advisory Board, and this is a presentation by our chair, Kelly Sharabi. She's not here? Okay. All right, we'll move on. So now we'll go right to our proclamation. So item 4.1 is Hunger Action Month proclamation, and this is sponsored by Vice Mayor Llewellyn. Let me turn you on.
I promised it was coming, and there it is. So, as part of our continuing efforts to developing and continue the relationship with Feeding South Florida, we did talk about doing a proclamation as well, so we can be city number 17, I think, out of 31 that you have a proclamation for?
16 or 17.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. Okay. All right. Proclamation reads from the Office of the Mayor, City of Dania Beach, Florida. Whereas September is Hunger Action Month, an initiative created by Feeding America to help raise awareness about the issue of hunger in the United States and in local communities. And whereas since 1981, Feeding South Florida has worked to end hunger in the city of Dania Beach by providing our community in need with immediate access to nutritious food. And whereas hunger does not discriminate, it knows no race, religion, or age, and addressing the food insecurity needs of children, youth, men, women, seniors, active military, and veterans today is fundamental for the future of the city. And whereas in South Florida, approximately 1 million individuals face hunger, food should not be an impossible choice for the community of Dania Beach. And whereas Feeding South Florida leads hunger and poverty advocacy efforts in our community while transforming lives through innovative programming and education that provides economic growth and overall well-being. And whereas the city of Dania Beach is therefore committed to supporting Feeding South Florida so that together we can achieve a hunger-free South Florida. Now, therefore, on behalf of the Dania Beach City Commission and the mayor of the city of Dania Beach, Florida, we do hereby proclaim September 2023 as Hunger Action Month in the city of Dania Beach, Florida, and do encourage all to join in on supporting Feeding South Florida during this month of action. Thank you.
Come receive the proclamation, and we can take a picture. Just
Stand
you
up
can
here.
stand up. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
He said we were the most receptive city, just so you guys know.
So
that.
yeah. I believe he told us that when we were there that day, correct? I remember hearing that when we went for our visit, so thank you.
For our next proclamation, item 4.2, it's Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and this proclamation is sponsored by Commissioner Joyce L. Davis. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Very special month, all month long. We have been making awareness for Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and so I will read the proclamation and then introduce you to a very special guest. Whereas each year the United States, more than 15,780 children are diagnosed with cancer, equal to about 42 childhood cancer diagnoses each day. Whereas childhood cancer is the leading killer of children by disease, and while great strides have been made to bring the 5-year survival rate to 84%, nearly 1,500 American children die each year from cancer. And whereas worldwide there are more than 300,000 new childhood cancer diagnoses every year, which means every 3 minutes, a family will hear the words, "Your child has cancer." And whereas 2/3 of childhood cancer patients will have chronic health conditions as a result of their treatment toxicity, with 1/4 being classified as severe to life threatening. And whereas in the last 30 years, only 6 new drugs have been approved by the FDA to specifically treat childhood cancer. And whereas the National Cancer Institute recognizes the unique research needs of childhood cancer and the associated need for increased funding to carry this out. And whereas hundreds of nonprofit organizations and at the local and national level are helping children with cancer and their families cope through educational, emotional, and financial support. And whereas researchers and healthcare professionals work diligently dedicating their expertise to treat and cure children with cancer. Whereas too many children are affected by this deadly disease, and more must be done to raise awareness and ultimately find a cure. Now, therefore, on the behalf of the City of Dania Beach Mayor and Commission, we do hereby proclaim September 2023 as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month in the City of Dania Beach, Florida, and do encourage all Americans to observe Childhood Cancer Awareness Month and support this cause that so deeply impacts families in every community across our country. And at this time, one of those champions of childhood cancer, bringing awareness to this horrific disease that affects so many people in our families, I would like you to welcome Sylvia Banny.
Thank you so much, Joyce. so many of you that I've met before. Anna has a very special place in my heart. I believe that you were mayor at one of our fundraisers here in Dania Beach. I want to thank you all so much for recognizing childhood cancer. I don't know if you received these cards from Joyce, but this is my baby, and he passed away from cancer. He was diagnosed at the age of 4.5 with stage 4 neuroblastoma cancer. I have 5 children, and he was my happiest and healthiest baby, never being sick until one day he couldn't walk. In 3.5 years of treatment, my baby underwent 55 cycles of chemotherapy, 50 rounds of radiation, 12 surgeries. He was treated in 7 different hospitals across 5 different states. Wherever there was a treatment option available for him, that is where we went. He had over 200 blood and platelet transfusions. He was inpatient for over 440 days of his short life, and so much more. And unfortunately, this is the norm for children battling these aggressive cancers. You hear that there is an 80% cure rate for our children, but that is for the most common type of childhood cancer, leukemia, ALL. For other types of childhood cancers, such as what my baby had, although treatment options have gotten better and cure rates have become better, they're nowhere near where they should be. And our children suffer lifelong ailments due to their treatments and are more prone to secondary cancers. And some childhood cancers are still terminal upon diagnosis, such as DIPG, which is an inoperable brain tumor, the same brain tumor that Neil Armstrong's daughter died from in 1962. And it's unfathomable that we were able to send him to the moon and everything else that our country and the world has done in all of these years, but we have yet to find any viable treatments for these children. Their survival rate is 9 to 18 months. So I thank you for raising awareness, for helping us. The only way we will ever find a cure for our children is to raise awareness for them. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I accept this proclamation on behalf of all of our families.
You know, we try not to bring emotion into these meetings, but that was definitely a moving story, and it was a very important proclamation. Thank you for Commissioner Davis for presenting that proclamation. Now we'll move on to our last proclamation, and this proclamation is for Hispanic Heritage Month, and this goes to all of our Hispanic residents, our Hispanic businesses, and our Hispanic city staff as well. I know Anna, Alora, Candido, Fernando, just off the top of my head. So definitely, yeah, Nanette, yeah, I could go on and on. But this is a proclamation from the Office of the Mayor, City of Dania Beach, Florida, Whereas each year, the United States observes National Hispanic Heritage Month by celebrating the culture, heritage, and countless contributions of those whose ancestors were native to North America, including Central America, South America, Cuba, Mexico, Spain, and the Caribbean. And whereas this year's theme, Latinos Driving Prosperity, Power, and Progress in America, encourage us all to embrace Hispanic heritage and focus on the themes of prosperity, power, and progress, recognizing the significant strides of Hispanics in the economic, political, and social growth of the U.S. And whereas we recognize and honor the many ways that Hispanics have enriched the fabric of our society, and we rededicate ourselves to acknowledging, promoting, and supporting the advancements of Hispanics in our respective communities. And the Hispanic population of the United States is now at 62.5 million, constituting 19% of the total population, and where more than 34% of the population of the city of Dania Beach is Hispanic or Latino. And locally, Hispanics and Latinos from diverse cultures, races, and ethnicities contribute to the vitality and uniqueness of Florida and the city of Dania Beach as residents, business owners, investors, staff, leaders, and volunteers. Whereas Juan Ponce de Leon was the first Spanish explorer to arrive in Florida in 1513, and Spanish heritage started the moment he named the Sunshine State Pascua Florida, or Feast of Flowers, in honor of Spain's Easter celebration. And whereas Hispanics have had a profound, significant, and positive influence in our country through their strong commitment to family and faith and fully embracing the American dream via ambition, work ethic, and a great love for the United States and passion for the communities they serve. Now, therefore, on behalf of the City of Dania Beach Commission, I, Archibald John Ryan IV, Mayor of Dania Beach, Florida, do hereby proclaim September 15th, 2023 to October 15th, 2023 as Hispanic Heritage Month in the City of Dania Beach, and encourage all citizens of Dania Beach to join celebrating the vast contributions Hispanics and Latinos have made to the world, to our country, and to our community. So let's just give it a big round of applause. And for our Cuban city manager, Madam Manager, we'll have our administrative report. Sorry, Sergio. Sir,
I just want to thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, residents that are here, residents that are watching on TV. I want to remind everybody of a very exciting event that we're hosting October the 14th. It's Dania After Dark, and it's the Oktoberfest edition, and we're bringing it back. I just want to say Cassie, Eric, Ashley, the whole Parks and Recreation team is doing a fantastic job. It's from 6 to 9. There's going to be entertainment, live music, food trucks, and there's going to be a very, very cool beer garden. And I've already bought my ticket. We've sold over 220 tickets already, and it's amazing. So here is the flyer, and I just want you all to put on your calendar Dania After Dark, October the 14th. You're going to have a wonderful time. I guarantee it. I also want to let everybody know that this past Friday, September the 15th, our Deputy City Manager, our Fire Chief, and Fernando, all the Hispanics, were with me for a great meeting that Senator Pizzo hosted in Hollywood. And it was about resiliency, and it was about all the things that we can do to continue to better position our city for grants and to be prepared. We all know what we went through back in April 12th during that flood event. So thanks to the support of this commission, we've been able to make some investment in vac trucks and pumps, and we are ready, and we're also ready for Tallahassee. I know that the mayor and Commissioner Davis and Vice Mayor Llewellyn will be coming up there to Tallahassee with me. Last year, we were able to bring back in excess of $2 million. This year, we hope to bring back a whole lot more, and the focus will be on storm drainage projects for our city and our city's EOC. Our Parks and Recreation Director and I met at length on Monday, September the 19th, finalizing a draft. Very, very exciting. We have $3 million, a little bit over $3 million in impact fees from new construction that has come to our city. And that money can only be used for new parks and the development of new green space. So we're extremely excited to be working with Bermelo Ahamil, who worked very closely with us when we did the Parks Master Plan. We have 7 acres of unused land and green space that is very much needed by Olson Middle School, by the community in the neighborhood, and by our city. So we're working on a really outstanding partnership and a draft that we hope to bring back to all of you to take a look at it. But very, very exciting opportunity to augment our parkland and our green spaces. We're also exploring an opportunity to possibly partner with Nova Southeastern University. One of their vice presidents is a former colleague of mine. He's a VP of operations and facilities for Nova, and they are augmenting their women's sports program. They're bringing back lacrosse and they're bringing back crew, and they want to partner with a coastal city to be the home for their women's crew team. So it was very, very exciting. So we're going to be meeting with them next week and look at what the opportunities are. I know having a commission that really supports sports, particularly women's sports, like Commissioner James played at the University of Miami. Whenever we can partner with a local university to do something good, that's definitely something that we want to explore. We have executed the grant agreement for $500,000 for the division of water restoration assistance, and the funding is $500,000 to our match, which will be a project in excess of $1 million for the Southwest 52nd Street Stormwater Improvement Project. So we're very excited to get that project moving forward. I also want to express my gratitude to our CIP and grants administrator, Colin Donnelly. He's part of Fernando and Dinser's team, and he's just been doing a fabulous job with grants and just really putting us at historic numbers. We just received $396,491 to fully fund 45 solar-powered lights in residential areas throughout our community. One of the top priorities of this commission is to make us a safer and more beautiful city, and this project of almost $400,000 will definitely do so. But to get a communication from Mr. Ralph Stone, that's the director of Broward County Housing and Finance Division, to commend Colin Donnelly for his professionalism and responsiveness is something that makes us very, very proud. Last but not least, on Wednesday, September the 20th, Commissioner James, our Parks Director, and I met with the team member from the city of Fort Lauderdale. The purpose of the meeting is to really get insight into the city of Fort Lauderdale regarding their partnerships with their local schools. This commission has been very active and very vocal in regards to ensuring that the millions and millions and millions of dollars that our taxpayers pay into our public schools get invested. And to have all our elected officials visit Collins Elementary and Dania Beach Elementary and Collins and see the shortcomings in the school, despite having great teachers, but not having the monies go, we've all become great advocates for that. So we're basically trying to see how our collective voices can serve to represent the city of Dania Beach and the school board to ensure that our local schools get taken care of. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Manager. City Attorney Bootsas?
Good evening, Mayor and Commission. I have no report tonight. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, I'll get to her right after. City Clerk, reminders?
Thank you, Mayor. You have your October 10th CRA and City Commission meeting, and then you have your October 24th City Commission meeting, 7 p.m. And that's it.
All right. Thank you, Clerk. And now we'll do public safety reports. So we'll start with Lieutenant Cooper. All right. Here's our XO, Lieutenant Cooper.
Greetings, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, and our amazing residents of Dania Beach. In regards to the public safety report, I would like to highlight a few arrests that we've made between the last commission meeting and today. On Monday, October 18th, which was last Monday, we received a report of 2 shots fired. in the air from a vehicle at the Saratoga Crossings apartment. Upon deputies' arrival, they did locate evidence of a shooting in addition to 2 spent shell casings. Thankfully, there were no injuries due to this reckless discharge of a firearm. During the detectives' follow-up investigation, surveillance video from the complex did show a driver of a white Honda CRV firing his gun in the air twice. Through investigative means, the suspect was identified and subsequently arrested and charged accordingly. Post his statement, he stated that he was following his girlfriend to the location. She had no idea that he was there, and he was simply stalking her and became upset when he saw her with another male. Again, thankfully, there were no injuries from that incident, however, but the individual was arrested. Dania Beach District received an anonymous tip of a white male in his 50s that possibly resides in the city of Pembroke Pines, however, selling narcotics in the city of Dania Beach at multiple locations. With that anonymous tip, our crime suppression team was able to, through investigative means, identify that individual and did learn that he did reside in the city of Pembroke Pines. After some undercover operations, which led to the development of probable cause, a search warrant was authored and executed. Pembroke Pines SWAT team assisted our crime suppression team with the execution of that search warrant at the residence in Pines. As a result of that warrant, a search of his residence revealed 68 grams of cocaine, 47 grams of marijuana, approximately $3,000 in cash, which we did seize, as well as a loaded 45 caliber handgun. Another item I would like to highlight, this past Sunday, unfortunately, we've had a slight increase in juvenile crimes in our Dania Point area that we are combating. 2 juveniles were enjoying a stay at the movie. They exited the theater. They were doing the right thing. They continued to ignore a group of 12 to 14 other juveniles that were just hanging out in the parking lot. They proceeded to walk towards their vehicle. Unfortunately, the group of 12 to 14 surrounded the 2 victims. One of the victims was pinned up against a vehicle and robbed of his shoes. The other individual was pushed into a shrubbery bush and robbed of his hooded sweater. Actually, he was told to remove his hooded sweater by the suspect who had a firearm in his waistband. And of course, that victim did comply. Deputies were notified. They responded to the area. They set up a perimeter. The suspects were 2 suspects out of the group of 12 to 14 were located. Those 2 individuals did have the victim's property in their possession. They were both arrested and charged accordingly, and thankfully there were no injuries from that incident. Another item I would like to mention, next Wednesday, October 4th, is National Coffee with the Cop. If you're available, Dania Point, the Starbucks at Dania Point, deputies Taryn and Eric will be there. If you're available during the hours of 10 a.m. and noon, we welcome your company and come in fellowship with us for a few and our deputies as well. Traffic, we have received a number of complaints regarding traffic, specifically in the area of Southeast 5th Avenue between Dania Beach Boulevard and Sheridan Street. We are continuing to enforce traffic in that area, as well as we've added a speed measuring device this past Tuesday. And we're monitoring the area for the next couple of weeks just to be able to provide you all with stats during the next commission meeting. In addition to that, we've notified our regional traffic unit who is assisting us as well, and they'll be out there in the same area. They were there yesterday, and they'll be there the end of this week as well, in addition to next week, to just continue with the enforcement of traffic at that location. That concludes the public safety report. I welcome any questions if you have any, and thank you all for the support of the Broward Sheriff's Office, specifically the Dania Beach District. It's been rewarding being here since June, and I'm enjoying myself.
All right. Thank you, Lieutenant Cooper. Well done. Well done. Commissioner Davis?
Yes, and we love having you. I am very interested in the age range of these individuals who were taking the hoodie and the shoes from this other, from these victims. I'm doing my own research with a certain age group, so I'm just wondering if you can shed some light on what.
Great question. The age range 14 to 18. Yes, that is the age range. And this has been the same range from the several cases that we've had involving juvenile suspects, specifically in Daniel Point.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
so much.
All right, Lieutenant Cooper.
Thank
You're
you
all
all.
set. Great
Thank
report.
you.
Okay, Chief Pelliser. Good evening, Chief.
Good evening. That's at Best XO in Broward Sheriff's Office. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, City staff, and our great citizens of Dania Beach. As our fire department continues to get ready for our ISO rating inspection, which is scheduled for next year, our citizens have gotten flyers in their water bills different times throughout this year. And speaking of ISO rating, we're number one, but recently two other cities that are served by BSO have also become ISO rating of 1, and that would be Hallandale Beach and Deerfield Beach. So it's good to see that sister cities, follow in our footsteps. Our inspectors are on schedule to complete all their annual inspections, and they're currently at 98% completion, so by the end of the month will be completed. Fire Prevention Week is October 8th through the 14th, but fire prevention is an annual campaign for our fire department. It's dedicated to raising awareness about fire safety. Some of the key points I want you here on the commission to think about, and our citizens that are out there listening, just remember that the origin and the history of fire prevention goes back to the Great Chicago Fire of 1871. So as our department, the most important thing is education. We emphasize the importance of educating the public, the citizens, our firefighters. Some of the things that we want to concentrate on is making sure that people think about doing some home fire drills and safety checks. We discuss these at our senior events. When our firefighters go to the schools, they discuss it with our children. And when they go to the schools, they have their messages age appropriate. So our kids from the youngest to the oldest understand it, and they can take these fire safety tips both home and practice around the school. Speaking of fire drills, our city will have its biannual fire drill. I know somebody was going to ask me about that tonight, but I figure I beat Linda to the punch and just let everybody know that we're going to have them. I can't tell her when they're going to be, but they'll be over the next week or two. I spoke to a couple of our different schools, and they've already had 2 fire drills. And after the initial 2 fire drills that they conducted at school at the beginning of the school year, they do monthly fire drills. So our kids are always in practice of fire safety. I encourage our residents that during the next month to update their family emergency plans. So think about what you're going to do in case of emergency, where you're going to meet, but most importantly, assign somebody in the family in case of emergency to call 911. And recently, BSO, we has hired 23 new firefighter paramedics, and they will do the Pride Run here through Dania Beach. They'll start at the pier, end up at the fire station on November 10th. So I know that's a holiday, but they're going to be running and meeting at the fire station. This is a regular thing that our fire recruits do when they come through Dania. Any questions?
No.
All right.
All right, looks like you're all set. Thank you, Chief. Great report. Before we get to citizens' comments, we're going to go take a step back to our art board presentation by Kelly Sharabi, who is the board chair of our art advisory board. If you're ready, Ms. Sharabi. Yeah? All right.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Commissioners, Vice Mayor, City Manager, City Attorney. I actually was under the impression that I was here for the REACH program this evening, not for the Art Advisory Board. Okay. I just want to make sure because if that presentation I'm not ready for. But if we're going to talk about the REACH program, I can definitely go there. And thank you so much for asking me up to speak again once I was tardy. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to speak. First, I wanted to say thank you so much, all of you, for your support of the REACH program. We are doing incredible things. We continue to do incredible things this year. We've actually added one school to our agenda this year. First, we have Olson Middle School, and then we've also added the Jewish Academy. So we have 2 schools on our agenda. Now we're up to almost 100 students enrolled in the program. We also have over 1,000 backpacks we'd like to offer to the City of Dania commissioners. If you guys would like to get your hands on some of them, we were happy to provide them. And really, I'm just here to say thank you. Truly, we're so humbled by your support. And we continue between BSD Capital and our Kushinko Development Company to say thank you to the City of Dania for just always supporting us and continuing to support us. And again, I apologize. Please, just a reminder, 6 kids at home, beginning of school year, holidays. Not that that's an excuse. Does anybody have any questions for me? And can I just pass this around so you guys can see? I have not only pink, even though I do have all the girls. We have pink, we have blue, and we have black. So I'm happy to share these.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Sharabi, for that presentation. Love the pink, by the way. But when I saw those, I know that I think there was a previous conversation at some point in time that perhaps our parks and rec department could use them when they go take the kids to different, sporting events and things like that. We do have our backpack giveaway for school, but usually we have a budget for that. So I'm not sure if our parks we could use them for their events, but I first thought of that when I saw them. They are very nice and quality. Love the logo, and yeah. So and thank you for what you do with the REACH program and also with the art board. I just want to let everybody know that our board poured through 869 pages of applications, and that presentation will be later, but
With pleasure.
the work is real. So thank you for all that you do.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Davis. I just want to mention also, I apologize that they were a little bit late in transit. They were supposed to arrive in July, and we just received them, so that's why we're here to offer them up. We can always put them on hold for next year if necessary. Yes, this is a sample. If you want to just.
Hey, hi, Kelly.
Hi.
So, yes, I would love to have some of those backpacks so I can go to the schools to see there are many kids that go to school that do not have the proper supplies, and the book bags that they're receiving or they have may be damaged or torn. And so I'm going to reach out to the principals of our local schools to see. I don't know how many you have. How many you have?
Originally, we had 1,000. We have offered some to Olson Middle School and as
Uh-huh.
well as our new program, Jewish Academy, that school, but there are plenty left.
Okay, so I'll get with you regarding some of them because I know you're ready to get them off your hands. Thank you.
With pleasure.
Any more events for the Reach? We're gonna have a helicopter this year.
We'll work on it. We're working on it.
All
Seeing
right.
who we can get in the lineup.
Oh, Commissioner Salvino.
You didn't think I was going to not say something, did you? Kelly, as always, you and your husband Sharon are very generous and very kind to all the school programs besides what you do for the city and participate in Employee Appreciation Day and things that you bring to us. So just want to say thank you to both of you for doing what you do for us.
It's our honor to help.
And I'll take some of those backpacks if I can sell them.
I don't know. You'd have to speak with the city attorney how that would work exactly.
I'm only joking.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Shrabi.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, we're gonna jump into citizens' comments, section 7 of the meeting, and we are gonna start with Alok Daraj. Mr. Daraj, if you could please state your name and address.
My name is Alok Devaraj. So, good evening, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, Commissioners.
It's all right. You have 3 minutes. Don't worry.
Okay. So, an honorable member of the City Commission and our dear Dania Beach community. My name is Alok Devraj, and I'm here to represent the Indian Regional Cultural Center of South Florida. I'm joined by two of my esteemed board members, Mr. Prem Mirpuri and Sanjay Gupta. We are excited to announce the 11th Diwali Festival of Light, which will take place on Saturday, November 18, 2023, at the prestigious Broward County Convention Center. We would like to extend a warm invitation to the City Commission, city staff, and the entire community of Dania Beach to join us for this magnificent event. The festival is a public event that attracts between 7,000 to 8,000 people with 80 to 100 groups and 500 performers on the stage. There will be 40 to 50 stalls of local businesses, including leading chefs from Indian restaurants. This year's event promises to be bigger and better than ever before, offering an extraordinary experience for attendees of all ages. The Diwali Festival of Lights is one of the most highly anticipated events of the year in Broward County, showcasing the vibrant heritage of India through a mesmerizing display of dance, music, art, and culinary delights. The festival will run from 1 p.m. to 10 p.m., and we are excited to present a diverse range of dance and music performances featuring both talented youth and adults. From Bollywood to extravaganzas to traditional Indian folk dances, the festival will offer a captivating blend of entertainment for the audience. In addition, high school and inter-college university dance competitions will showcase the immense talent within our local community. No Indian festival is complete without the taste of authentic Indian cuisine. Indulge your taste buds with the mouth-watering flavors of Indian food, expertly crafted by skilled chefs. The festival will feature a range of delectable dishes available for purchase, ensuring that attendees can experience the culinary delights representing different regions of India firsthand. For those looking to bring a piece of Indian culture home, the event offers an enticing shopping opportunity for clothing, jewelry, accessories, and more, allowing visitors to immerse themselves in the beauty of Indian craftsmanship. The immersive cultural experiences and activities such as Rangoli competitions and art displays, the creativity and talent of participants as they engage in friendly competitions and showcase their artistry, will provide a deeper understanding and appreciation of Indian culture. Tickets for the event will be available for purchase on the official IRCC website, Florida website at irccflorida.org, closer to the event date. Early bird pricing of $12 per ticket will be valid until Thursday, November 16. For more information on sponsorship, vendor booths, donations, and volunteering opportunities, please visit our site, IRCC Florida website at ircc.org. Save the date and please join us to celebrate this Festival of Lights. I would like to leave this some of these cards and this our magazine. Can I hand it
Please.
over?
Yeah, bring him up. He stayed there, right? Mr. Duraj, for the record, could you state your address?
I'm sorry.
Could you state your address for the record?
No, 728 Lake Boulevard, Weston.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for extending the invitation. Up next, we have Natalie Earl. Natalia, I'm sorry. Hi, Natalia. Please state your name and address.
Sure. My name is Natalia Earl, and I live in the city of Tamarack, 5608 Bayberry Lane. And though I live in the city of Tamarack, my work and play takes me here to the first city of Broward. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, City Attorney, City Manager, and everyone here present. It is my pleasure to be here with you, representing the Urban Health Partnerships as the Food Systems Program Manager. I am really excited to kind of talk to you a little bit about what has been going on in the city and the work that Urban Health Partnerships has been doing. But, I wanted to just point out that it was obvious to me why the Hunger Action Month is this month, that you've made that proclamation, and it's obvious to me why Feeding Florida would have said what they did, because I've always known that you've prioritized health and the well-being of the city and its residents and its visitors. And, I want to just talk a little bit more and share with you about that. Most recently, I was happy to work with a longtime partner of yours, Memorial Health systems in their Dania Beach launch of the One City at a Time program, the OCAT program. And we've worked through the years on so many exciting programs that have positively impacted hundreds of Danians and residents. And I'm here to share just a few of the things I'd love to have your support in service to the city on. The South Broward Community Health Hub collaboration is one of the partnerships with 70 plus diverse stakeholders, local businesses, community-based organizations, health providers, farmers, community leaders, and more, offering programming on various projects. And two of those projects are what I want to address today. One mini project called the Nurturing a Neighborhood Market Program allows home and small growers to be supported to set up their produce and cottage industry items through an online platform for local pickup on scheduled market days. Our fall market is coming this November at St. Ruth's in Dania, and those interested may join as a host, as a buyer, and or seller for this market. And there's also one coming up in December that we would love to have your support for as well. Most recently, as of 2 weeks ago tomorrow, the City of Miami Gardens authorized the passage of a Healthy Retail Incentive Program, also called a Healthy Checkout Program. And we would love for you to consider that for the City of Dania Beach. As the name suggests, it incentivizes retailers to provide healthier food and beverage items at their checkout counters, where most people are likely to make their final impulse purchases. It's a program and not a policy, and so it would be something I think would be easy for the city to support, as it allows establishments to, get technical assistance and get benefit of increased promotions and bragging rights. So we'd love the opportunity to talk to you more about how you can get with this program and have it set up in the city of Dania. And my team and I are willing to work with you to speak to that. Thank you for your time here today and your dedication, service, and commitment to community health. I appreciate you all.
Thank you, Natalia.
Thank you. And
3
I do
minutes
have
on the dot.
information I can share. So I'll
Yeah,
share
please
this
share
with you.
information, and we look forward to communicating with you more regarding this
Thank you
relationship.
so much.
Up next, we have Diane Clark. Miss Clark, if you could please come up, state your name and address.
Hi, so I'm Diane Clark, and I'm at 137 Southwest 3rd Street in Dania Beach. So, hello, and thank you for taking this time to hear my concerns. I'm a Dania resident, homeowner, and for the past 20 years, I've been drawn to this community because of its historical charm, its homes, and its history. And I noticed on the agenda that we're looking to vote in 4,000 units. So my concern is, as a homeowner, that as we look to vote in additional 4,000 units here, that we build responsibly. Enough hotels, apartments, and personally would like to see opportunities for home ownership, like condos and or townhomes. And let the pride of home ownership have a voice here as a resident in this community. So I think that's it.
Thank you, Miss Clark. I agree with you in pride of homeownership. Just to clarify, we're not voting on the 4,000 rack units tonight. It's a process. I'll speak with you about it. Yeah, after, just to clarify.
Now I
things.
know it's coming up in December, I think it is, but as we're looking to do something like that.
Yeah, it's going through the county, and then it's going to come back to us. Okay, thank you, Ms. Clark. Next, we have Robert J. Sima? Oh, Bobby Sims. All right. All right, Bobby Sims. Say your name and address.
It's Robert J. Sims, okay? All right, I came to where we had a Zoom meeting regarding...
Name and
Oh,
address,
I'm
please.
sorry. Robert J. Sims, 32 Southwest 4th Street. It came up, there's the hotel at 380 Dania Beach Boulevard, or US 1, is looking to rebuild. And we had a Zoom meeting 2 weeks ago. They want to do a 6-story hotel, which 6-story hotel in a residential neighborhood is going to be obscene. I mean, I'm going to be looking at the back of a building from my house. There's an existing building there, it's 1 story. There's an existing hotel across the street, the Super 8, it's 2 stories. Why does it gotta be 6 stories there? We're building monstrosities right here, and I understand it makes sense here, this is all commercial. We're building stuff down there 6 stories, it's residential, it makes no sense to me. I don't understand where this is coming from. My concern is gonna be, if it does get built, the amount of traffic that's gonna be on 4th Street. What they proposed is an entrance off of 4th Street into the hotel, not off of US 1, the amount of traffic it's gonna bring in. Parking, to me, there's not enough parking for the hotel, for what they've got rooms and the restaurant and so forth. I think the city needs to look at this, and I think we need to look at different and come up with another idea. I don't think it's feasible. I don't know why we need any more hotels in the city, number one. We got 6 right here, brand new, you're gonna build another one. There's over 600 rooms. How many more rooms do we need in the city of Dania for hotels?
Thank you, Mr. Sims. For the record, how long have you lived at your address,
I've
3362?
lived on 4th Street for over 45 years.
Sir.
I've been in the city of Dania 50+ years,
Thank
as
you.
long as you.
Thank you, Mr. Sims. Up next, we have Janet McCombs. Ms. McCombs, you could please state your name and address.
Janet McCombs, 41 Southwest Street. Good evening, Commissioner, Mayor, good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, staff. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. Again, I'm here regarding the proposed hotel on Federal and Southwest 4th. I attended the Zoom and in person, and it looks like this property is going to be built to the property line, the way the rendering was. I asked about landscaping, and they said they're going to have landscaping along Federal on the swale. The swale's not the property. So I'm really disappointed in the green space idea here. So where will the cranes park? Where are the building equipment? Where are the workers going to park if it's built to that property line? There's 82 rooms, 68 parking spots, and only 2 handicap spots assigned. The workers were said they'll be bussed in, or they'll take their own mass transit. I don't believe that. There's 3 residential homes that abut this property on either side, and it just seems like this is the only property that has that condition in the whole Federal Highway. I don't see any other residential properties around a commercial that I have noticed. It'll block the views of the people in that 2-story condo. The daylight creates illegal parking on the private property. It was mentioned that the property now has problems. I believe it's a small building, small problems, a bigger building, bigger problems. Now I just wanted to go on to the mixed use issue. Please keep businesses off our residential streets. Some are considered historic. Code allows only 4-story adjacent to a residential property next to the mixed use boundary. Why should these 3 residential properties where this proposed hotel is being considered any different than the mixed use code? I just feel it's not right for the people who have lived there many, many years. And thank you for listening, and hope we all can put ourselves in these homeowners' shoes, and just have a safe evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. McCombs. Up next, we have David Miller. You can please state your name and address, sir.
Hi, my name's David Miller. Address 310 Southwest 1st Avenue. Hi to everybody. I'm not used to addressing crowds, but I'll do my best. I have lived in Florida since 1985, and Dania was a different place. You would say, I live in Dania. People would say, where is that? You did some improvements over the years. You've done some nice things, but I think we're finished. I think you built enough. Not everyone wants to live in a big city. That's what Dania's becoming, the traffic. There's more crime. When I hear these proposals, is there anything about more police, more EMS attached to that? Because I believe by expanding the population, those elements come. Have you driven on US 1 lately? There used to be no traffic around 6, 7, 8. Now there's traffic. I've lived here for years. I've loved it. If I wanted to live in a crowded place, I would have stayed in Queens. I feel the quality of life is being destroyed. It's taken from us. I'm in my 60s. You're going to build something next to my house. There's this huge empty lot. When the hotel or whatever you put there goes up, I'm done. My investment, my years of restoring my property, keeping it maintained, it's a labor of love. Maybe I thought I could hand it down to my kid, but right now I'm like, I better get out because you guys are not stopping. Now, I'm not benefiting from this, but who is? I don't know about politics, but someone is benefiting because you guys are not stopping. When you did the Dania Beach Hotel, that was great. You tore it down, you improved it. Nice. I'm just curious, does everybody up here actually live in Dania?
Yes, we have to.
Okay, well, that's a start. I guess that's all I can say. I don't know if this is going to move the needle at all, but I'm sure there's a lot of people like me who can see the future's not good for me. Because if I can't sell my property, it's not the value drops. That's how I see it. So, all right.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Thank you,
Can I just suggest one thing?
Yeah, please. Go ahead, Eve.
For everybody who's speaking tonight on a possible project, you need to come to the hearing for when that project comes forward. The commission can always take into consideration your comments, but it's valuable for the actual hearing. It's considered a quasi-judicial hearing, and your testimony that's when it's really, really needed and when it should be taken into consideration. All of these comments will be logged for the developer to know about, because otherwise we have problems that they could challenge our record because there's information that wasn't given at the hearing that the commission heard. So I'm going to make sure that she gets the information so that we don't have those challenges. But I wanted to tell you, please come to the hearing and speak at that time, because that's the time when the public hearing is going to actually occur. Okay? Thank you.
Yes, I appreciate your guys' comments, and the commission, we're going to have some serious discussion regarding this project and, future projects in the city. So thank you for coming out, and just like City Attorney Bootis reminded you, make sure you come out for the public hearing as well on this item. But it's good that you brought this up, because I know that we had, you guys had your public meetings with the developer, so you obviously voiced your concern. The commission hears you. For our last citizen comment, we have Jose Armand. Jose, if you come up and state your name and address.
Jose Armand, 50 Southeast 3rd Avenue. This from a story on the U.S. Army website by Sergeant Reed Cox. It highlights this year's Hispanic Heritage Month theme titled Latinos, Driving Prosperity, Power, and Progress in America. Thank you. And it pays tribute to the immense economic and political strides Hispanics have made in the United States. Quote, Hispanic Americans have played a pivotal role in our country's strength and prosperity. Our nation's story would not be possible without generations of Hispanics who have shaped and strengthened the fabric of our union. Hispanic heritage is American heritage, said Lieutenant Tito Sanchez. Our contributions play an important role in shaping this nation for hundreds of years. It is important to share our heritage, to let everyone know who we are and what identifies us as Hispanics. Close quote. In 2019, then Mayor Llewellyn asked me for my help in drafting the document that would serve as the blueprint for our present Hispanic Heritage Month proclamation. She would then honor me by presenting me with the first proclamation. Then again in 2021, I was grateful to accept such proclamation by then Mayor James, this time awarded to Latino Ensemble, the nonprofit theater company on which I serve as director. At last year's Hispanic Heritage Month, the ensemble presented a performance art piece graciously covered by the Dania Beach Press. Yesterday, as I was drafting these remarks, I happened to look out the window and saw the Muscovy mother duck, who just the other day had been having lots of fun playing with her brood in the lake-like that forms on my street whenever the rain falls hard. She had been smashed to her core by a driver, left to bleed an instant death. I spotted a parked BSO, and I was emotionally overwrought. With poignant feeling of loss, I succumbed to a plea for help. The officer, whose badge had the Hispanic surname of Gonzalez, when queried about his name, he proudly retorted, "The third," snapped on a pair of tan-colored gloves and removed the dead carcass from the middle of the street. A serendipitous crowning achievement by this officer of Hispanic heritage. The rich irony was not lost as my writing resumed. In recent years, Dania After Dark has celebrated Hispanic Heritage Month, starting on September 15 and ending on October 15. It is slated to return on October 14th with an Oktoberfest celebration. The United States celebrates Oktoberfest as a German-American cultural celebration. It is a relatively new tradition in North America, but it's popular with people whose ancestors were German immigrants. Chalk it up to white identity politics, and I hope that Hispanic Heritage Month 2024 can still be celebrated at next year's Dania After Dark. It doesn't have to be a Hobson's choice. Thank you.
All right, now move on to item 8.1. We'll go to the consent agenda. Are there any items you want to speak? Commissioner Salvino?
Thank you, Mayor. With your approval, I think that the people that spoke tonight about the new apartment going up, I'd like to address that a little bit for you. I think that some of the comments that I've heard, and some of the, and I sympathize with your thoughts, but long before we were up here, any of us, there was a lot of ordinances and rules that were passed. And I think that if you're aware of these rules and what's going on and the ordinances that are out there that our community development can tell you about, or we can organize an interior meeting so you understand, there's certain conditions that we have to follow. If we don't follow them, there's lawsuits by the developers. That lawsuit will take millions and millions of dollars if we lose out of the city's coffers. I think that through the mayor and maybe through the city manager, for anybody that's out there that wants to understand what we have to deal with up here to make that decision, it's not a decision that anything that we're benefiting from. That we're making decisions that we're obligated to make by the ordinances that were passed many, many years ago. So we have to follow those rules, or we put the residents of Dania Beach in a financial bind by being sued for millions of dollars. So I just want you to understand that these decisions that we sometimes make, that we're not as happy with them as you think we are, but those are decisions that we have to make, or you get sued. The residents will get sued. So I think through you, Mayor, and maybe the city manager, if we can arrange something with the residents that are interested and post something out, that they can understand what we're up against as far as the ordinances go and what the obligations are and what the things are before the next meeting on this, maybe they'll understand a little bit more of what's happening, because I understand that what they see, they just may not understand why. Is that fair enough question?
I think that's up to the.
The reason I ask that is because I don't like to be up here and make a decision and them not understand why we make this decision. I think it's fair to them to understand what we're doing before we do it, just not out of because we want to have a building. We have to follow those rules, and I think it's fair to the residents to understand those ordinances that we have to follow. I think it simplifies it for all of us. Thank you.
Commissioner James?
Yes, I just have one comment. Since Commissioner Salvino said that, by right, the property that you all are speaking of, by right, they can build 4 stories, and then with their incentives, 2 additional stories. So that's how they get to 6. And that, excuse me. Oh, 8. But they're only going to 6, but by right, they're allowed to build 4 with incentives up to 8. And that's not something that, and I don't think that we can negotiate with them what they could put on their property. I mean, they own the property. We could definitely tell them our feelings. We listen to you all's feelings. But by right, those are things that they can do regardless if I like the project or not, because I've sat on both ends as a resident and as an elected official. And as an elected official, I've learned a lot more about the ordinances and the code and what's allowed versus what we can control and the things that we cannot control. But I look forward to furthering the conversation and to listening to all of you all and the things that you all have to say. Thank you.
Just
let-
as a
let
thing,
me-
I recommend no more discussion because really this is the discussion, including what the ordinances are, should happen at the public hearing. That's how you get into trouble if we don't do the proper disclosures, where the city can be sued because it's not happening where the developer can be present. So I don't want us to get into trouble. The right time, I mean, you're always welcome to talk to elected officials. I can't say no. All I'm telling you is the best time, the right time to do it is at the public hearing so that you can be heard, so that there's evidence in the record. So when a decision is made, we have the evidence to support any decision that's being made. Thank you. It hasn't been scheduled yet.
It's not scheduled yet. Yes.
I mean, if you have an idea of when you think it's going to be scheduled.
Good evening. The applicant had 2 community outreach meetings where there was a lot of comment. After those 2 outreach meetings, staff met with the applicant and we went over some of the issues that were brought up at those meetings. The end of the meeting, they said that they were going to look at the drawings again, see if they make any accommodations to address the concerns that had been raised, and potentially bring back those changes to staff to review. So at this point, there is no public hearing date scheduled for the project.
Commissioner Salvino, do you have anything to add? No?
Sorry. You know, Evie's telling us we can't talk about it. I don't understand that the residents want to question whether it's here or whether it's after hours or whether they call me on the phone. You know, we're still discussing it. And, you know, I being up here, I don't like to be bombarded with not being able to give them an answer or them having an idea of what the rules and regulations are. I understand that we may be up against something, but I think if we prepare them ahead of time, that I think that they give them a little bit of knowledge of what we're up against. I mean, if they call me tomorrow and ask me this question, I'm going to talk to them.
Yeah, that's how it should be. It shouldn't be spoken on the dais right now because it's not an
Well, she
agenda
just said
item.
you
So
couldn't talk. You didn't want to
hurt,
talk. All right, no
hurting us
problem. If
now.
any of you have any questions, give me a call tomorrow and I'll be happy to discuss it
The
with you.
reality
Okay?
is you can talk to any elected official at any time. That's why I haven't stopped anybody from talking at the
Okay.
public
I
comments.
won't talk anymore about it.
The only concern I have is that whatever communication you have with the elected officials, we have to remember to do the disclosures
Mhm.
so that when we go to the hearing, it's who, what, where, when, and what was said, because in quasi-judicial matters, and what it means is they're acting like a judge.
Okay.
They're reading the application, making sure it complies with the application requirements. So there's some amount of judgment in there. There's cases out there where a developer or a resident could challenge the whole process because there were communications had outside of the hearing. And that's why I'm giving all of these
Okay.
cautionary direction and advice. Thank you.
Thank you, City Attorney. All right, now we'll move on to the consent agenda. Are there any items that the commission wishes to remove from the consent agenda? Commissioner James?
No, I would like to make an ordinance to approve the consent agenda if there are no other comments.
Okay. I have a motion from Commissioner James.
Second.
I have a second from Vice Mayor Llewellyn. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, consent agenda passes. You know, I just wanted to give an update on this consent agenda because there's a lot of good news in this consent agenda, actually.
There is.
You know, we're maintaining our 55 bus benches and our 56 bus shelters, and we're improving them as well. We have grant money for our Southwest Drainage Project, $500,000 towards our Southwest Drainage Project. We have multiple Southwest Drainage projects going on right now in our city, so that's a positive. And let me see what's another positive that we have? Yeah, we have our emergency management. And then we are streamlining certain processes to make our city easier to work with in our parks and rec and our finance department as well. We're doing some updates. So a lot of good things on that consent agenda, a lot of positives that we'll see hopefully shortly in the future here.
Mayor,
All right.
question.
Go ahead.
Question about the vendor for the bus benches. I know that one was destroyed right here by Hotel Dello. Are they going to put it back? The shelter and stuff that was there, because I know that things happen to them. Some of the bus benches and the structures, but I'm not sure what the process is to getting those fixed.
Yeah, Commissioner, that's a very good question. They maintain and replace, so we can get an update on them, from them.
Please, thank you.
Okay, we don't have any quasi-judicial hearings, so we'll move on to our first reading ordinances. Eve, item 11.1, please.
A resolution of the
Bids.
City
Wait,
Commission.
Bids.
Bids.
Oh,
9.1.
sorry.
A resolution of the City Commission approving the award of invitation to bid 23-15 for portable toilet rentals to Johns To Go Inc., authorizing an agreement with Johns To Go, providing for conflicts and an effective date. This is a Parks and Recreation item.
Parks and Rec? No. Oh, okay. Commissioner James?
I'd like to make a motion to approve 9.1.
Second.
All right, I have a motion. I have a second from Vice Mayor Llewellyn. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. 9.2.
A resolution of the city approving the award of a bid to under number 23-16 for event equipment rental to Fiesta Carousel Inc. and Sunshine Tents and Event Rentals, which may exceed $50,000 annual threshold, authorizing an agreement with both vendors, providing for conflicts and an effective date, also Parks and Recreation.
Okay, Commissioner James?
Make a motion to approve 9.2.
Vice Mayor Llewellyn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Our bids and requests we're through that. No quasi-judicial hearings. Now on to item 11.1. Please, Eve.
Okay, bear with me on this one, it's a long one. An ordinance of the city amending Chapter 28 of the Land Development Code at Part 3 Special Zoning Districts, Part 1 Community Redevelopment Area, Form-Based Zoning Districts to provide specific regulations for the 4,000 rack units authorized by Broward County to be allocated to the CRA Form-Based Code through the city's comprehensive plan amendment to be adopted in December 2023 to provide for specific form-based regulations for the 4,000 new rack units and providing for a vesting of the 2010 rack units approved under Ordinance 2010-07, adopted on September 28, 2010, under the regulations of this subpart as they existed in Supplement 154 of the Dania Beach Code of Ordinances, dated November 30th, 2022, published by Municipal Code Corporation, and specifically amending the CRA form-based code for the 4,000 units to eliminate incentives providing for mandatory green code requirements and clarifications, including the following revisions: amending 300-30, how to determine the buildable area of a lot, allowable density, and building height; amending section 300-60, other development regulations; amending section 300-80, intent; 30120, applicability; 30140, site plan procedures; 30150, variations in design; procedure for review of design variations; amending Article 303 entitled District Development Standards; amending 30330, illustrated development standard definitions, interpretation; amending 30340, City Center District Section; 30350, the Neighborhood Mixed Use District; 30360, East Dania Beach Boulevard Mixed Use District; 30370, Beach Gateway Mixed Use District; 30380, South Federal Highway Corridor Mixed Use District; 30390, Neighborhood Residential District; 303-100, Marine District; 304, Building Height and Transition Regulations; 304-10, generally; 304-20, Rules of Height Transition from Residential Zoning Districts; striking Section 304-30, Rules of Height Transition adjacent to the FEC corridor; renaming Article 305 from Incentives to Sustainable Building Requirements; striking 305-10, Applicability; striking 305-20, Schedule of Incentives; striking 305-30, Incentives for Providing Public Open Space; striking Section 305-40, Incentives for Providing Attainable Housing; striking 30550, sustainable building practices, creating a new section 30510, applicability, relate, and 30520, green building practices, creating a new section 305 entitled Third Party Certification Requirements, striking 30560, provide public parking, strike 30570, incentives for public parks, providing for codification, conflicts, and an effective date. This is a community development item.
Good evening. Corinne LaJoy, Deputy Director of Community Development. So this application is for a text amendment to the city's land development regulations um, to essentially eliminate the incentives in our form-based zoning districts. Okay, so in 2010, the City Commission, that's when our form-based districts were originally adopted. Initially, the city's goal was to attract and entice development to the city. This is at a time when there was little redevelopment that was happening in the city. The current land development regulations identifies incentives, which if utilized by developers can increase building height and density in exchange for some of these incentives. The incentives include public open space, attainable housing, sustainable building practices, payment or parking, public parking, and public parks. So those are the incentives that, if provided, they can start earning additional height and density. These incentive regulations will remain in place for the existing regional activity center units. That is the original 7,818 dwelling units that have been spoken for. They are currently have approved site plans, either entitlements or have been built or are currently being built. So those kind of remain frozen in time with these regulations. At this time, the community development is in the process of also a land use plan amendment for additional units. So any additional RAC units that get granted to the city would follow these regulations from the beginning. These are the only regulations that would apply. The text amendment is requesting to reduce the allowable building and height by eliminating the incentives. So what that means is I was going to go through each of the zoning districts individually so you can see what that does for the height and the density. And this is the city center zoning district that we're showing first. This is where City Hall is located, where we are today. It stretches a little bit east of Federal Highway and west of the railroad tracks. So what is currently allowed through maximum incentives, utilization of maximum incentives, is a 14-story building at the center of the district. With the elimination of the incentives, the maximum height that could be achieved in the center of the district would be 7 stories. The next zoning district is East Dania Beach Boulevard. This is a mixed-use zoning district. This is along East Dania Beach Boulevard. It includes the Publix, the Dania Entertainment Center, the Citibank building. So here we're going from maximum height again of 14 stories for those blue shaded areas down to 7 stories is the maximum. But you can see the numbers in the districts. Those are the maximum heights in the different areas of the district. And the height allowance in the districts vary depending on the location particularly to the single family adjacent to it. So we're at, like the center along the corridors is usually where your maximum height is, and closer to the residential, that height goes down. This gateway mixed use zoning district is a little bit further east on Dania Beach Boulevard. These parcels are much larger in size. So we are maintaining a 7-story maximum height with the elimination of incentives. That does cut it in half from 14 down to 7. But again, these are larger parcels and there's not single family homes, backing up to the back of this district. South Federal Highway mixed use corridor, the same currently. The maximum height that could be achieved through the use of incentives would be 8 stories. Through this elimination, it would knock that down to a maximum height of 4 stories. But again, on the outside of the district, to the east and to the west, is 2-story. That's where it starts tapering down into the neighborhood. The neighborhood residential mixed-use zoning district is not as a concentrated district. It kind of, you can see on the map, there's several districts throughout the regional activity center. So we did show where those locations are occurring. We are eliminating the incentives, but this is a mixed-use district, so the maximum height that could be achieved within that district is 3 stories. Where the residential that surrounds it, the maximum height would be 2 stories, so it's only 1 story additional in this district. So the community development is proposing the adoption of sustainable building regulations that would require some developments to meet the green building standards. This is because we lost that incentive. If we're eliminating the incentives, we no longer have the sustainable building practice incentive that developers may want to participate in. In doing that, we are recommending that city projects of 20,000 square feet or greater meet that green level of certification. That's just a way of us sort of capturing that particular benefit at this time. We are researching we do have a list of other green initiatives that could be added to the regulations if that's something that's desired, and that falls short of requiring developments to obtain green certification per project. Those are things that we can talk about. In addition, we do have a voluntary set aside of additional RAC units, should we get them, of affordable housing. So while it doesn't take away the affordable housing incentive, we will be guaranteed that a portion of any new units, I think we're at 15%, would be set aside for affordable housing. This item, the text amendments reducing the incentives, was brought before the Planning and Zoning Board last week on the 20th, and they recommended favorably to the City Commission with a 5-0 vote, and staff as well is recommending approval of this ordinance on first reading. It does require 2 readings. The second reading, should it pass tonight, will come forward at the same time as replenishment of the RAC, because these regulations would only apply to those units. So once the units come on, this item will be on the same agenda. And I'm available if you have any questions.
Thank you. Thank you for your work on that. Thank you, Eve, for the reading and community development. I appreciate all the effort that has gone into this from our departments and our whole staff. Commissioner James?
Yes, could you go back to slide 7? I know that I spoke with you in the meeting, and I was trying to figure out why on one side of the street it was like 7 stories, and on the other side it was 4. You remember when we had that conversation? I think it was me, you, myself, and Eleanor that were there. But slide 7, that's the one I caught. So, thank you. So at the bottom, you see at Sheridan Street.
Yes.
What is the logic behind that when you have similar developments, and not that I'm for 4 stories or 2, but it doesn't seem consistent, and I just wanted to understand how you all got to that number.
So I didn't get a clear answer from the consultant when I went back through that, and I know that at that corner, that's the new 7-Eleven, and then it goes back into some single-family homes back there. But we can, if the commission directs us to, we can reflect the 4 stories, so it would mirror on both sides of Federal Highway.
Was that area rezoned? I think
It was rezoned more recently. It wasn't always zoned that.
Correct.
It went down to Federal Highway, but the part that goes west was a rezoning made by those property owners.
Right. So I just want to be consistent.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Right.
future plans are, but if it's going to be 4, make it all 4. If it's going to be 2, make it all 2. I just want to be consistent. I don't want anything to come back in the future and say, we made this decision and it wasn't cohesive on the same street. So that's my only concern with that one. And then slide 9, please. I would like to, we're talking about environmental policies and things of trying to be more proactive, and I want to challenge the city. Any new city facilities, I think it should be 10,000 square feet, not 20,000 square feet. Is there an issue with it going to that, Corinne? Or was that just the number you all came up with?
As we change it and lower that number, you would, of course, potentially capture more buildings. So I don't know the exact square footages of the facilities, but I would suspect that there'd be a couple more, like maybe public parks that might get captured within that. But that's something that the commission can discuss, and we would make whatever changes
Okay, so that's
directed.
one of the things I wanted to see if I could have consensus, if we could move that from 20,000 to 10,000. And then the other one was on the same slide. Um, you said 15% would be affordable, but would it be affordable or would it be affordable slash workforce? Because workforce is not affordable. We
It's
know
the
that.
affordable workforce category.
Okay, so it's
Yes.
just wordplay because it's not affordable. So can we dictate if it's adopted as is, can we dictate whether it's affordable or workforce?
Under
No,
Broward
it's that-
County, they
no.
include both, all of
Mhm.
it under the designation of affordable.
No,
So no, what I'm saying is Broward County has dictated the rules as far as what is affordable, and that includes workforce.
no, I understand that, but I also understand if I'm not correct, can we be more strict than the county?
Let me think that through.
Okay,
think that through.
I'll get back, but I definitely want the first one. Is this going for 2 readings?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I definitely want consideration for the 10,000 square feet, making it a sustainable green building with the support of my colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner James. Vice Mayor Llewellyn?
Yes. Good. Am I on? Okay,
You're
thank you. Just checking. Corinne, I just want to make sure because you spoke a lot and there it was a very long ordinance and I want to make sure and I know that I understand because you met with each of us and explained everything that was going on here. That this is only for RAC units going forward,
Correct.
not the ones that are currently entitled to certain developers or individuals or what have you. So that, for example, if there was somebody that already obtained a certain number of units, that this ordinance, this reduction in height and density would not apply to them. It only applies to if and when the additional units are approved, it would only apply to those.
That's correct.
Okay, so the old incentives for height and density would still apply. I don't want
Yes.
anybody having any surprises if
Right.
something comes up.
Right.
I want to make sure everybody's clear that if it's something that we're required to follow based upon the old ordinance, that's one thing. But then going forward in the future, we are now seeking to reduce the density and the height
Yes.
for future.
That's
Thank
correct.
you. That's all I wanted. Thank you.
Yeah, so this is taking away the incentives, but we could still always vote to not approve the incentives for the old rack units still.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Commissioner Salvino?
While I push my button, forgot what I was going to say. I forgot what I was going to say, honestly. I don't remember.
Okay. Commissioner James?
After the public hearing, I want to make a motion, and after Commissioner Davis, and then Commissioner Savino.
Commissioner Davis?
I just want to make sure that I understand, you said that we could have more green incentives and that we could have a discussion about what those options would be if we wanted to make the buildings more green. So, I would like to know what kinds of things that we would have options for doing, because I think that if we can't be green certified, then we should try to, have as many green incentives as possible. And if you want to, I mean,
I have a whole list on my desk.
I know you do. Don't worry about it. We'll bring it back. But I that was very important to me, and
Yeah.
I know you're very thorough, so we can get that at a later time. I just
Okay.
wanted to see what those things are so that we could discuss them. And my other one is slipping me. One of those days. All right, go ahead and go.
Commissioner James?
Is the public, you want to say, because I want to
Okay.
amend my
This is a
motion.
public hearing. Does anybody wish to speak on this item? Member of the public? Okay, I don't see anyone.
All right.
Mayor, if I could just, I'm sorry
please.
before you speak. I think we need to just clarify on the 10,000 or the 20,000 that you're proposing.
That's what I'm doing in my motion.
Just one thing, because we do have projects that have been budgeted based upon the size right now. We don't want to interfere with that and increase the cost of the current projects that you have going. Just something to think about.
Thank you.
Yes, Director Brown was reminding me of projects that already are moving forward.
They would be grandfathered in though, wouldn't they, if we're doing a,
Yeah, I just want to make sure that it's
Okay.
got to be projects that we have not already approved or budgeted with city funds, because that's our concern.
Good evening, everybody. Even the future parks that's coming on board, if we leave them at 10, then we've already outgrown 10 all over the city.
Right.
So it wouldn't make sense to build those because it's already at 10. So we would need 15 to 20, so that we can accommodate the growing community that we have coming to the city of Dania Beach. So the parks wouldn't benefit from this. Or if it's a green space and it's more than 10, then the price will probably double or triple.
No, remember, we're not developers, and we didn't float a bond, so we're not hitting our taxpayers. This is a loan, and we still have to do PJ Milley and Frost, so we just passed 21 million and change for CW. So we want to be very transparent to please ensure that our parks and that future development that this commission and this administration is doing is not affected by this.
Vice
I
Mayor
just
Llewellyn.
wanted to make sure that also that CW Thomas Park has run through DRC. It's estimated about 15,000 square feet, just so you guys know that project. And also, when you make your motion, we'd like clarification on the 2 to 4 stories on that South Edmond mixed-use district.
I was going to actually suggest with instead of giving a specific number for the amount of feet, could we do, I know it's only first reading, could we do an assessment of any pending projects that have not gone through site plans yet and get a sense of where they are? Because maybe we can put the number at that level.
Well, like, for example, I'm already starting to think about Tallahassee in our EOC building. We don't want to handicap ourselves.
Right.
Because again, whereas developers have deep pockets, these are taxpayer dollars and city budget dollars that we want to stretch because of the state of the parks and what we want to do in regards to what we've approved in our Parks Master Plan.
And the EOC. I mean, there's
in our EOC.
I mean, and there's a number of things. I'm just thinking that might make more sense instead of picking an actual number, saying yes, we would like to reduce the number, but then take a look and see what's already pending out there, so we can just get a better sense of what that number should be. Can we do that legally?
I don't see why we can't do the analysis. You can always do it at second reading. It's not going to affect the title. So you could make the adjustment by second reading.
What developments are you looking at specifically?
Well, I'm
The
just
city?
anything, our parks,
Our parks
the
are-
EOC, that sort of thing. Those things that are,
We did that initial analysis, and CW Thomas was the biggest project, and that's why we recommended the 20,000. We can relook at. EOC wasn't something on our project list at that time.
Commissioner Salvino?
Yeah, I think what we can do on this, on the first reading, is pass it. Even if we pass it on the second reading as well, we can change it. We can, I guess it's called a text amendment. We could change it in a couple months from now after we get through all the projects that we've already have in the works that are going to need more than 10,000, and then drop it back. At that point, that one item can be amended, and instead of the whole thing, just that one item can be amended.
You
and
can
we
do a
drop
text
back.
amendment, yes.
I think that would be the simplest way to do it without affecting any of the projects that are already, like the parks and anything else, because if not, they got to start all over. That's just my opinion.
Commissioner James?
yes, I just think it's frustrating. It's frustrating that we talk about how important environment is, and we pass these things, and we're looking at certain ways to, be sustainable and look into the future and make sure that we have sustainable buildings 40 years from now. Every decision that we make, we're hopefully making them for 40 plus years from now. And changes are they're investments. They're not going to always be cheap. And we hold developers to certain standards. I think that at some point in time, we have to hold ourselves to those same standards. I'm not saying go and rebuild every city facility and make them green, but I do think that we can challenge ourselves to make some of our parks green. I just don't see how we can be an advocate for an environment and try to say let's wait until all of our stuff is built and then put it out there. I mean, at that time all of our parks will be completed. It's no point in even doing this for city facilities if we're just waiting to do a very large facility. And so I'm going to make a motion for it, but that's my frustrations. I think that we have to start making decisions that are sometimes not going that are sometimes going to be costly, but it's for the betterment of our future and our environment. We can't just skip out on doing certain things because of a cost factor. So I will. So I'll make a motion this is long, to approve 11.1 with slide 7. I would like to have that a consistent 4 instead of 4 and 2 for that one slide, and then I'll come back, I guess, at the second reading with
To be clear, on the consistent 4 and 2, do you mean is all 4 or all 2?
all 4s. Because it's 4. It's already 4. It's just one little space. That's a 2. That's west of US 1. Is that
So
of
the
US
rationale
1?
behind that is some of those properties are single-family lots right now, currently. I think
Mhm.
there's some duplexes, single-family lots. So that was the rationale for the 2 to the 4, but it's up to the commission to have a discussion.
Okay, well that's my
Do you have
motion.
that slide up so they can see?
I mean, there are places all around the city that is the same thing. I just want to be consistent.
So the little area that's pink versus the purple.
Yes.
I think it serves as the 2-story serves as a buffer, and it makes sense of how they set it up. It looks like a little strip, but that's what separates the commercial from the residential.
I'm just saying that because they came and did a rezoning for those single family homes in this commission, not this exact commission, but this commission approved it. And so there had to be some foresight of why we would approve that and then handicap them. So whatever, that's my motion. You can vote it up or down. I don't really care.
Is there a second?
Do I have a second? No.
The only thing I was going to say about that is, you would, with that text amendment and that change, you'd actually be granting those properties more height than they have today. Because we're just eliminating the incentives. And so that's why the to the west is 4 stories, because with the incentives, they have more height. But we're eliminating those incentives. To the west, we're doing the elimination, but they don't have the ability to go as high, even with incentives today. That's why it's reflected that way in the map.
Are there any other motions?
Is there any other motions to approve? Okay, Commissioner Davis, please.
Motion to approve item
11-1.
11.1. Thank you.
All right, I have a motion to approve item 11-1. I have a second from Vice Mayor Llewellyn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, it's passed unanimously then.
Mayor, before you go on, I just wanted to, based upon Commissioner Salvino's request, and I thought about it further, I'm going to talk to some of the residents here afterwards that have remained regarding the property that's going to be going through the site plan review, and I'll get the phone numbers and contact information from the cards and call the others so I can fill them in. Thank you.
So before second reading, before that comes back, we're anticipating having more of those green building initiatives for you to research, and we'll do one-on-ones again with you to get your feedback prior to that presentation of second reading, okay?
Thank you. Once again, thanks for all your work on this. It's going to make a big difference in our community. All right, we don't have any second reading ordinances, so we'll move on to item 13.1 for discussion and possible action. Eve?
A resolution of the city pursuant to section 811-140 of the Land Development Code, the property owner, Cozy Cove Marina, requests approval of its mural located at 318 North Federal Highway in Dania Beach, providing for conflicts and an effective date. This is community development.
Good evening. So this is the historic Dockers restaurant. Now it's known as Grumpy Gary's, and they are coming forward with a mural on the property. The theme is marine life, which is installed by local artist Penny Fendor. The applicant has proposed the mural with visual accessibility to the public, and they're with the following characteristics. They use material that ensures longevity and durability. The paint's on the surface and on the structure that is stable and ready for painting, and that it meets the standards of artistic quality and suitable for a neighborhood, and that the use is approved and uses an approved graffiti and UV coating to protect the murals themselves. This is what it looks like. I believe this is what's physically there today, although it's not finished. This is what's on the property today. Oh, actually, I think what's on the property today is not finished. I think this is the rendering of the completed image. Right, correct. So on September 18th, the Public Art Advisory Board heard this item and recommended approval to the City Commission with a 4-0 vote, and staff is recommending approval as well. And we're available if you have any questions. Yes.
Question, Vice Mayor?
This is now the fourth mural that's been started or completed before they came for approval.
Yes.
What are we doing about that?
Well, as we find them, we bring them forward. People are very enthusiastic about public art.
You don't have any too much kickback, right? When you tell them it's
No,
$100 for
it's
the
an
review, they just
education
say, "No problem"?
process, right?
Okay.
And so we reach out to them. We have our public art consultants reach out to them, provide them the application package, and they've been working well with us once we notify them that they must get approval.
The turtle's there now. It looks very nice. I like it. I like the whole idea. I'm not. It's not that I'm against it. I'm just really tired of people not following the rules. It's getting really old.
Yes.
Again, fourth one
Yes.
done without approval in advance.
There may
What
be
can we
more.
do? What can we do to stop this from continuing? Because eventually there's going to be one that we don't like. I'm just saying. I'm pretty certain of it. So, what do we do? They get a ticket, right? I mean, it's just very, very frustrating.
Well, if they do a poor job, then they have to take
They
it
have
away.
to take it down,
and
but
they're paying
still.
$100, so.
We continue to educate. We have code enforcement monitoring this. We actually drive up and down the corridors as well, looking for public art because, like she said, they're enthusiastic. They want to improve it. We want to encourage it. We don't want to fine them and
Me too.
put things on top of and burden on them. So we're trying to educate them with social media, with other ways, so that they know that there is a process to follow, and we expedite that process as much as possible. We have found another one on Griffin Corridor. We tried to catch it. I did want to update you on the Casper Arts. They have touched it up because it was peeling. We notified them, so we're monitoring them, and we're doing as much education and outreach.
Can we
as
do
possible.
some sort of? I know it's expensive, but is there some way we could do some sort of a mailing or some? I don't know. I know. Don't look at me like that. She's got, good God, no. Okay, something. Something in the Dania Beach Press, perhaps. Something that just tells people that they need to.
I think that an article in the Dania Beach Press could be something that maybe Commissioner Davis working with the art board can do and talk about it and inform the people about the process.
There's a process that we need to follow. Otherwise, why do we have it?
Yeah.
It's becoming obsolete. That's my point. That's all. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Commissioner James?
Yes. No, agreed. Actually, agreed because I know that it's an educational thing, but when do you move the needle? When is it that I don't understand? When are we going to feel like people are taking advantage of us, or I mean, they're asking for forgiveness later? I mean, I'm going to make a motion to approve 13.1, but I definitely still want to know, like, when do you draw a line? How many years of education are we going to do? You don't know? Okay. That's my motion.
You know what we could do, if I may, through the mayor? We'll sit down and we'll discuss when we started this educational process, and then when is the limit, and then we can look at it as we would any code violation, including and not limited to going to a special magistrate and paying, let's say, into a fund or something like that.
That would be good.
So, yeah, we'll look at all the options.
I'd say this is a positive impact. You know, it still has to be approved by the city, but, you know, this is what your guys' goal was when you started this art initiative in the city, and it's coming through. You know, obviously it's a little rough, certain people, just feel the need to paint on their building, but they realize, I'm sure in the back of their head, they understand that there's going to be some pushback or some type of notification that they get from the city. So our staff has done a great job to actually inform these individuals how they put it up. How are you going to notice that there's new public art? You just paint it on the wall. But hopefully you do a good job.
So why do we have
Because
the law?
eventually, like you said, something's not going to get passed. But overall, I think this is a positive impact, and we still have guidelines, and this meets all the guidelines. This is something nice. It's at a seafood restaurant on the water, so it makes sense. There's a shark and a sea turtle, and it looks like quality art. So far, we've had some quality projects, and art's in the eye of the beholder. But you could tell that it's art on these buildings, and I think your guys' initiative that the commission did years ago is finally starting to come through. But if you watch any of the meetings, you would know about it. But so all we have to do is inform our businesses that are on the main thoroughfares, US 1, Griffin, Sterling, and it'll be more helpful, I'm sure. Commissioner Salvino.
Thank you. I have a suggestion. Anytime that the new business comes in, applies for a business license, you hand them a piece of paper, say that if you're going to do any public art, you have a requirement. It's something that's probably not on our application as it is. So if you were to do that, and the other thing that I would think of would be that we've been talking about doing our newsletters that you're going to be putting out. Along in the newsletter, I think we have a lot of things we've discussed tonight about ordinances and public hearings and where we have mixed uses and stuff like that. And I think we do a lot of explanation through our little newsletter, plus putting out there about public art, explain public art to the residents and the businesses and stuff. But I think with all that being said, I think the key is to stop it right from the beginning, because nobody that's out there, maybe we do drop a letter to the original businesses when you send them a business license, a renewal. Like I just got my business license renewal. So you send it out there saying, if you're gonna do any public art, it's gotta be approved. Somebody comes in and gets a license to open a business up. If you do public art, here's a new application. So that way they understand right from the front before you even have to worry about it. Once they pull that business license and they put public art, then besides us approving or not approving, they get fined because they've already been notified. We've done our duty. I second the motion to pass the item.
I see Adam from finance in the audience with the team, and I think we can do that through the BTR, through the business tax receipt, so we can send folks information. But like Corinne and Eleanor said, people are really excited about it.
I don't dislike the art. I don't dislike it. But I do like rules, and I do like processes, and I like us if we had them, that we should follow them. That's all. It just drives me crazy. It's like, what's the point of having it? That's all.
Okay, Frankie, would you like to add? I have a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. Go ahead, Frank.
Yes, it was a little spotty, the conversation to hear in the back, so if you could please repeat the question.
When folks apply for the BTR, if we can give them information about the process for art in public places and art at their establishments.
Yeah, of course. If you want, we can
Add to the application.
Yeah, we can have like a little handout or something that goes along with it, and just definitely.
Thank you so much.
Sure, you're welcome.
Thank you for the great idea.
That was a good idea.
It was.
Got to something right tonight.
Okay, we have no appointments, so we'll move right into commission comments, and we will start with Commissioner Joyce Davis.
Thank you, Mayor. We did participate. We had our first city event at Tootie Adler Park for the 37th Annual International Coastal Cleanup Day, partnering with Coca-Cola. It was a wonderful event. We had a lot of community organizations come out. Coca-Cola recognized us as community partners, publicly recognized us as community partners for sustainability, and so it's great to further our business relationships and partnerships and be recognized for our sustainability and our environmental efforts with the beach cleanups and with our community organizations. In addition, I attended the Seafarers House event, and so that was benefiting the nonprofit. It was a wonderful event that honored one of the CEO of Royal Caribbean, and also all the funds benefited the Seafarers House, which had us to look at all the people in the marine industry and thank them for all that they do. Lastly, I went to the I can't find it. Anyway, so I've gone to a lot of different events, and so we just want to thank. I want to thank. That's what I wanted to do, was to thank the Parks and Rec department for going to above and beyond to help us to get all of these things together for the beach cleanup. And thank you guys for all that you do to help us make our events successful. And I think that's all I have so far. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner James.
Yes, thank you. I want to also welcome J. Crew to the city. We did go to a ribbon cutting there. They have some good deals, so if you're out there and that's your store, go out there and visit them. And I also attended the Chambers After Hours event at the Tiki Bar here in the city of Dania Beach. I do have to request $6,800 again for the breast cancer reception because it wasn't a formal meeting, I'm told. And so although I already got consensus, I have to get it formalized here at the commission meeting.
Okay, do I have consensus for $6,800 for Commissioner James for the breast cancer awareness?
My contingency funds. Yes, I did. It's for the items that we're purchasing for the breast cancer survivors. And so this is, yes. Do I have consensus? Yes, okay, thank you.
Give my approval.
And then I guess we can do this at a different meeting, but I want us to think about Feeding South Florida. And if we want to have that partnership and discuss that, I'll probably put it for discussion. Can I have it for discussion and possible action, Alora, for the next meeting, so we can all get our ducks in a row and we know what we want to request, if we want to be a partner, and what that looks like. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Salvino.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple things. I think this is our last night we can take out of our contingency. Is that right, for this budget year? I think that listening to some of the proclamations tonight, I'd like to give $1,000 to the cancer, for childhood cancer, and I think that the Mystic Foundation. So, yeah, Mystic Force. So, if that's approved by you, I'd be okay.
Yes.
Frank, I don't know if you could hear them. They want to know if they have any money left.
Where's the money?
Vice Mayor and Commissioner Davis, you both matched, correct?
I match.
Three
Thank
matches.
you. Match, yeah.
Pending match.
How much you want? Let me see what I got in my pocket. I don't have the exact number, but I can get it for you real quick if you want to.
If
Just
not,
wait
I'll
a
match.
moment or
If
two.
not, I'll
Why'd you
match. I'll
say-
give it to you. Yeah.
Just give me a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got three matches so far with one pending, correct? Okay. Also, now that we're back into the swing of things with Dania After Dark, I started looking at some of the cost factors of our tent rentals and stuff like that. As our city has grown and we start doing more events, I'd like to look into buying ourselves our own stage. I've seen that at many cities that I go to, the events, the ones that fold up and look like a trailer, that we can use for something like that, and possibly, get our own tents. We don't necessarily have to have chairs and tables because that's a lot of storage area for us, and I don't know if we use it, but the tents we would use for other things, just even if we stand under it. The stage is something we always use for the entertainments, but I was kind of hoping we could take it out of the building escrow, Eleanor. I don't know if we could. Can you incorporate that as part of a building problem? Okay, I thought, because they got a lot of money in their account,
You know
And,
what we'll do, if I may, looking at the difference between the rental and actually purchasing and storage,
okay,
and the equipment and the everything that comes with the sound system, things like that, because it may be more beneficial in the future if maybe we can look at some sort of band shell or something cool that could be multi-use. So we'll look at
okay,
all
well,
the options.
all right, because I mean, the trailer, I mean, we do have storage on our public facility. And, you know, the trailer, we can pull it to CW, Frost, Mealy Park, any of these parks we go to. You put a band shell, we're stuck in one position. And, you know, it doesn't have to be necessarily for Dania after dark, but it could be for events on the beach and everything else. So I would like, you know, with the consensus of the board to look into the comparisons of rental for 12 times a year versus how much, or 8 times a year versus the cost factor of what it would cost times 5 years and see what would come up.
Yeah, we'll certainly take a look at it and bring you back that information because the
Yeah.
stage that we're going to be using for Dania After Dark, like the one that we did for the tree lighting, it's a massive stage. It's not like old school little riser. But we'll
Well,
take a
that
look
the
at that.
one I
and give
saw
you-
in Davie was a trailer. It was 40 foot long, and it folded out all hydraulic, and it was nice. And they said it wasn't that bad, and it had all the sound systems built into it and everything.
We'll check
So,
it out and we'll
okay.
bring you that information.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome, of course.
That's all I have tonight.
Vice Mayor Llewellyn?
Here comes Frank.
Wait for Frank first. Go ahead.
She probably
Tell
owes
us
us
her
money,
numbers.
right?
Okay. Good evening. What?
I'm done spending money. But you keep the rest put in escrow for next year.
So
Nothing wrong with
Put it
putting
back in
money
the
back.
general fund.
who would? I mean, just tell me.
I don't need to know.
I have a lot in mind. I know.
So, okay. So starting with Commissioner James, $9,046.
She just took 68 though.
She just took 68.
Okay. 13,572.
You can read off Mark,
Ask
well,
if the check
Commissioner
has been
Salvino and Vice Mayor.
Okay, Commissioner Salvino, 11,768.
See, I'm a thrifty spender. I didn't spend much.
Vice Mayor Llewellyn, 11,820.
Good job.
And I have 2 things pending, I believe now. So
Okay.
the one.
And Mayor Ryan, 12,891.
Commissioner James?
No, nothing I was going to give, but I don't have it to give. So, I'll take another 1,000 from the city manager. Robbing Peter to pay Paul. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think.
And we all matched.
Can you give me the totals by, what was it? Everybody?
Commissioner Davis, you want to go before Vice Mayor Llewellyn? Since
You
we'll
can,
circle back to
unless
you.
you wanna.
Crunch some numbers.
I mean, I do have, since I had the most state. We did speak about this and we have not done anything with it, but I would like to set funds aside. I did get consensus from this commission to talk about getting starting a CPR awareness and program and getting some of the residents, or getting the residents being able to have a certification program for CPR. So I would like to set funds aside, and whenever we can get that together or investigate into that, then I would like to be able to put funds towards that for future. No, not we used to do it.
Commissioner Davis, you want to do it for the community? I think
Yeah.
that we could possibly partner with our fire department. Would you like to set aside
Yeah, I would like to set aside $5,000 for that.
$5,000 for CPR for community?
We don't, that's why I'm setting
Well,
it
but I
aside.
think 5,000 is a good start, and I'll look at my funds and. Okay, 10,000? 10,000 for community CPR and safety initiatives?
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. And, the other, I would like to put towards, 2,000 for the Historical Society.
2,000 for,
And then the,
I'd like to add another $1,000 to the Historic Society.
and then, I also have been working with Parks and Candido and Rex because we're doing, it's not a finalized yet, but Get Fit Dania Beach 5K Walk Club, where we looked at a partnership with Hollywood to go from Dania Beach to Hollywood to mark off a 5K, to have a marked route that is an official route. So I would like to put the remainder of the funds towards that project, towards an event that benefits Get Fit Dania Beach 5K Walk Club. Thank you.
Okay, we have consensus for Commissioner Davis's request. All right, we have consensus. Commissioner Salvino would like to match Commissioner Davis's donation of
For
2,000?
historic.
Or
But
2,000?
let him do it again this month.
Commissioner Salvino, and he has
That's a
consensus
good
from the commission.
fund.
1,000 to the Historic
1,000 from
Society.
Commissioner Llewellyn for Historic Society.
I think that's what I have left after everything else comes out, because there are some pending things, yeah.
1,000.
Oh, I have
So
one
let's-
more question. Sorry.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
The 50,000 that we did not use for the airport, do we still have that to put towards?
No, that's gone.
Where's that gone?
I think it went to the book.
Yeah.
No, that was from contingency that went for the book, but I wanted it to go towards the book. If it hasn't gone towards the book, I wanted it to be able to go towards the book.
The book, how do we fund the book? Was it from the remaining amount?
It was from,
Our commission contingency fund is expended.
it was like 20,000 from the contingency funds, but not from the airport, and that's what I wanted to be able to put that towards the book.
You're talking about the advertising, the 100,000 that we earmarked this year,
Yeah.
and we put 50 towards the Visit Lauderdale. The other 50 we have earmarked towards Collins for the playground.
No, that was from commission contingency, not from the advertising budget.
We have, and this is the spreadsheet that Maxine and I maintain, so we both are on the same page with this. We have 50,000 from general contingency going to the Veterans Park, and 50,000 from advertising money going towards Collins' contribution. And then there's really, yeah, there's nothing left after. There's about 20,000 left in the.
She's talking about the advertising
Yeah,
budget.
that's
Why
we
would
spent.
advertising go towards Collins?
Well, because that's
'Cause
the
we
money
had
that was left.
We agreed on that as a commission.
I'm gonna go back and look at that. I pretty much, because it was supposed to be from contingency funds, because we had over $200,000 or something like that left in contingency, and then so it wasn't. To my understanding, it wasn't from the advertising budget. We never said we're gonna take from the advertising budget. To my knowledge.
The advertising budget is a part of the 200,000. So it was 200, and the workshop last year. 100,000 of that 200,000 was earmarked towards advertising. The other 100,000 was left as general, and then you all know there's another 125 for all of you for your individual amounts. So again, of that 200, 100 was for the advertising. So we spent the 50 with Visit Lauderdale, and then the remaining 50, that was the understanding, was that it would be earmarked towards the Collins contribution. The other 50 came for the Veterans Park, came from the other general money, but then there's only around 20,000 left now.
For the book.
Yeah.
Because we had. So what was earmarked for the historical book?
If that would have to be coming out of the next year's budget, because I believe we talked about that at the workshop. that it would come out of next year's contingency money.
I'm gonna have to go back and find the video because I remember when I spoke with the man, we spoke up here and we said that we were gonna take the remainder of the funds and put it towards, part of this budget would go towards that book and then the other part would be from the next year's budget.
So
We'll
we
take a
can
look at
take
it.
a look at
We'll
the
take a look
minutes and everything, and we'll.
All right.
If not, it would be 20 from this budget and then 50
From the,
next year.
Yeah, I mean,
The key is to identify it.
you're right, though, I
and
just
have
wanna
it.
know where it's coming
Yeah.
from so that we,
the bid's out on the street, and I think it closed.
Yeah, the bid's out on the
Might have closed this today. So we can definitely.
Are we gonna be able to
We'll
move
bring forward a
forward?
funding plan. No matter what, the funding will be available. We'll have funding appropriated towards
that's
it.
all I wanna know.
We'll have a
We'll
funding
find
plan.
it, all right,
Yes, absolutely.
thank you.
It's already voted on.
It's already been
We have
voted
no-
on.
We only have 20,000 left in our commission contingency funds.
But Commissioner Davis just asked for 50,000 to also be donated towards the book, and so that's 70,000 for
We
the
don't
book.
have- we don't have
How? But even for next budget, I'm just trying to figure out how much does the book cost. Says that's 70, right? That would be 70,000 for the book, Frank.
Most likely is going to be 50 to 75,000, somewhere in that range for the book.
What the book got in it? Oh, every resident's gonna get a book? No, it's not for, okay. I didn't know that I know we had the 20, but I didn't know that we were discussing putting 50 more towards the book. I don't know. I need to see this book. That's a lot of money for, I don't know what you all have been discussing. Okay. All right, so you guys have already budgeted for it then, if you knew that we were gonna need the book, Frank?
It was discussed at the workshop that we would be using contingency from next year, but we can come
Okay,
up with whatever
that's fine.
you're all comfortable with
Nope.
is where we'll find the money.
That's fine, I'm done.
We can
Thank
put
you.
our remaining 20 that we have towards it. We can do that. That makes sense. We already did that, right? So we're just clarifying this.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. Can I remind commissioners, please prepare your comments.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor Llewellyn?
Yes, and I will be very brief, and I have prepared my comments. First of all, I just want to make sure all the residents know that all of our clubs and organizations and civic associations and homeowner associations are all back to having their meetings again. So those who do participate, I strongly suggest you go out there and see them. I've gone to the ones that I'm a member of and welcome people back, and it's nice to see everybody again. Secondly, this week, the manager, the mayor, myself, and Commissioner Davis all visited with Senator Pizzo and had a very informative and interesting meeting discussing a bunch of different things in preparation for our Tallahassee trip and items where we could seek his help in obtaining some funds from the state. And he was very enthusiastic about our requests and our asks, and even made a couple suggestions that were very good and very helpful. So we'll see how that goes, and we will follow up with that in Tallahassee in November. The last thing I want to mention is today I participated in a forum on affordable housing that was held by Debbie Wasserman Schultz here in Dania Beach at Saratoga. Very interesting. Had people from different levels of government, as well as different agencies. And again, another very interesting and informative discussion. And hopefully some of the information that was discussed will get to the right places. One of the interesting things that was discussed was that FIU is doing an overall assessment of affordable housing. They're going to have a report that comes out, a survey that comes out, that I think is going to be very helpful to all of the cities in Broward County. And when it does come out, we'll make sure that we get a copy of it so we can all take a look at it. And with that, I have nothing else. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Okay, I'll get right into my contingency funds. I have $12,891. I would like to donate $3,000 to each post, American Legion, Post 304 and Post 209. I would like to donate $3,000 to our Dania Beach Improvement Committee, $2,000 to the Historic Society, and $1,891 to the Lions Club. So that's $3,000 to Post 304 as a donation. Can I finish, please? And then $3,000 is a contribution to Post 209. So that's $3,000 to each of our posts. $6,000, $3,000 in the Improvement Committee. And I know some of our representatives of the Improvement Committee are here. I thought you guys did a great job with the fishing tournament. Hopefully this helps for the fishing tournament for next year. And $2,000 to the Historic Society. We all know how important that is. And $1,891 to the Lions Club. All right, I'm maxed out. And before I finish my comments, Commissioner James would like to add.
Yes, because you forgot they didn't take the money out from my organization yet that you committed to.
They didn't take it out? Well, it should be, yeah, it's accounted for.
It's accounted for, but I think he gave you your total probably with it or without it. I just want to make sure.
Are you talking about the 500 from last meeting?
For the Tamara James Foundation?
Yeah, I donated that
for the Thanksgiving drive
Mhm.
last meeting. Yeah, that's already included in that. The 12,891.
Okay, and then mine too. So mine was the money was already deducted before you gave me my total.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Commissioner Salvino.
Yeah, I'd like to help you out there, Mayor. See, I got some money left. I might as well. How about throwing another 1,000 to each of the American Legions, and 1,000 to the Dania Improvement Committee, because I did enjoy the fishing tournament last year, and I think that could be a bigger and better, event as they build up there. And I guess the Lions Club. I have enough left to give 1,000 to the Lions Club too, don't I? Frank. That's four. I have 4, 5, 6. I only had 6. I had 11, so I'm good.
I'd like to add $1,000 to the Dania Improvement Committee as well.
And we have
You don't have any money
for the committee or for the posts? 1,000 for each post from Commissioner James.
I'd like to add $1,000
but
to
he had
each
it
post
earmarked
as
already.
well to go with the
I told you
Improvement
that you weren't
Committee as
listening
well.
to me. I said,
All right.
They take it out. They take it out.
It's all right, Frank. It's all right.
You didn't mean that. Check. They take it out.
So we have 1,000. Yeah. Let's start where I am, okay? We'll go from there. I have 3,000 to Post 304 and $3,000 to Post 209. I have 2 commissioners that are donating $1,000 each to those posts. Commissioner Salvino, Commissioner James, they're going to give $1,000 each of their contingency. That's a total of 5,000 to each post at tonight's meeting. I'm giving 3,000 to the Improvement Committee. Manager Garcia is giving $1,000 towards the Improvement Committee, and Commissioner Salvino is giving $1,000 to the Improvement Committee. So that's 5,000 to the Improvement Committee, 3 for me, 1 for Anna, 1 for Marco.
But I wanted to add 1,000 to each post.
Okay, and Anna's adding 1,000 to each post as well. Are we good? Yeah, I'm giving $2K to the Historical Society as well, donating. And $1,891 to the Lions, which is being matched by Commissioner Salvino.
I'd like to add $1,000 to the Lions as well.
Okay. Vice Mayor has 1,000 for the Lions. And Commissioner Davis?
I'm gonna have to take it from something else, but I need to give $1,000 to the Janie Gooden Greenleaf Golf Tournament Foundation.
Which foundation?
Janie Goody Greenleaf Foundation for golf tournament.
Jane Goodall?
Dr. Greenleaf.
Oh, Janie Greenleaf.
Janie Greenleaf, her foundation. They're doing a golf tournament to raise funds for her foundation. So, you want to go? Okay.
You had like a few $100s? No?
Okay.
I forgot to do that. What did I say? 1,000.
And with this money that the commission is donating to these local posts and to these organizations that we have, these public organizations, community organizations, this money we want it to be used towards your events also, because you guys have your own groups and you guys have your own events and your own initiatives as well. So we want to support you. So it definitely spreads it out. And this commission likes to support our improvement committee, our historic society, our Lions, all of our local clubs, and we want to build you guys back up. So it's great to see that. Thank you very much to the commission. So we're entering the holidays. Go ahead, Frank.
I just want to make a disclaimer on this because we're doing this on the fly. Just let us audit all this and make sure that all the funding you asked for is available. If there's any issues, we will let you know soon. Okay. Thank you.
Vice Mayor.
Do I still have money available, or because I thought I had things set aside? It's very confusing. So that's what I want to know. Because if I'm able to add some to each post, I will add some to each post. I just don't know if I'm able to.
I'll put that in.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, great. I think we've made great use of our commission contingency and our individual contingencies as well in the community. And I thank the commission once again. Yeah, that's a round of applause. That's it's $325,000, from the commission, and we've almost invested every penny. So that's it's very positive. And as you can see, it's not easy to allocate. It's more difficult decision than you have to make because everybody obviously needs help. But we do what we can, and we try to focus on what's important to our community right now. With that, I'll say we're entering the holidays. Summer's over, so it's time to get some work done. And yeah, summer's long gone.
September 21st.
So yeah, we're entering the holiday season. I'm very excited for our new events in October with Dania After Dark. Very excited for Halloween coming up in our C.W. Thomas Park. Our trunk or treat is coming up. We have our State of the City coming up on November 9th, and we're just going to be rolling from there into Thanksgiving and Christmas. And I think we've had a very good year. We just passed our budget. And with that, I will say meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.